Hello there, this is Hayato of the future. If you can hear my neighbors upstairs stip stomping and or the rain outside, please ignore that and or my food. I'm going to be doing the voiceover of this because I basically, long story short, this is Blueprints. I have already played it. You can see the top one, day 102. I've already been kind of through it exhaustively. If you're looking for no spoilers, please click off of this. This will have spoilers, but long story short, I was going through some of the trophies later, and I tried to do the get to room 46 on day 1 trophy, and I have spent so long on this. You have no idea. So anyway, the first like 5 times I tried this, I was like, let me just go ahead and narrate as I'm doing it. That way people know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, where we figured stuff out. That went away pretty quickly. I have been working on this for arguably 7 to 10 days. I have gone through probably 100 to 200 tries, and then just going back and deleting the data so you can see the day one, those are failed runs. I would just fill up all 3 and then delete the 3 and then do it again. So yeah, long story short, I'm going to be voicing this over to give you the kind of the context and kind of how I know or how we figured stuff out ahead of time. That way you can see what I did, but also kind of how we knew to do certain stuff. Maybe the thought process behind it. But yeah, that's why, because I had been doing this so long, I just wasn't talking as I was playing it. Or was, making random noises, and maybe you'll hear that. But long story short, yeah, voiceovers to explain what I was doing because it has taken me so long to actually do it that explaining it as I was doing it was just kind of pointless. So anyway, let us go ahead and watch. Nothing important here except, again, day 102, I've had one run where I figured everything out. Not everything, but figured out what I knew going into this, and then now I'm just going for a do it all on day 1 kind of a run. Not all of it, but what we can. So we are going to start by watching the intro sequence.
I, Herbert S. Sinclair of the Mount Holly Estate at Reddington, do publish and declare this instrument my last will and testament, and hereby revoke all wills and codicils heretofore made by me. I give and bequeath to my grandnephew, Simon P. Jones, son of my dear niece, Mary Matthew, all of my right, title, and interest in and to the house and land which I own near Mount Holly. The above provision and bequest is contingent on my aforementioned grandnephew discovering the location of the 46th room of my 45-room estate. The location of the room has been kept a secret from all the staff and servants of the manor, but I am confident that any heir worthy of the Sinclair legacy should have no trouble uncovering its whereabouts within a timely manner. Should my grandnephew fail to uncover this room or provide proof of his discovery to the executors of my will, then this gift shall lapse. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 18th day of March, 1993. Herbert S. Sinclair.
So for part of that, I was just mouthing the words and doing stuff on another window. Yeah, the goal of this run, again, complete, at least get into room 46 on day 1. That's the goal of this. So now we are game face and ready to start. First thing you have to do always is get the blueprints, that way you can draft. The best thing I found is to start with closet. You can get items, and the right items will help you go a long way. This was not an ideal situation, getting the metal detector, but can't say no to anything. Because we got the closet, we wanted to go right. That way we didn't miss an entire wing, or have to go all the way to the right from the left. Spare room just seemed like the best choice out of those, because corridor will have unlocked doors, and that will be helpful later on. We went with parlor for the gyms because we won't need keys until about rank 5. And then again, took a second to find the coin, but the metal detector told us there was a coin. By this point, I'd actually had most of these memorized. This one was not one I was super familiar with, but we have 2 truths and 1 lie. The 1 lie was the black box, which was pretty obvious when you read it, because one of them has to have gyms in it. This was not an ideal pull. We did commissary just so we had ways to go, but I was not very keen on spending the gym super early on. Went ahead and started looking at what there was and what the price would be, just for future reference. Thinking about what I needed, what I didn't need. From here, everything ended up being a dead end, and so it was just made more sense to get laboratory out of the way so it didn't obstruct us later down the road. Because red rooms especially become a big problem. And I've had runs where I had like 2 rows of red rooms, just got them all back to back to back, so it always made sense to get the dead ends out of the way early on when we could maneuver around them, because you'd have hallway pop up regularly. So it seemed best to get those out of the way. That way they didn't, again, you're down the line and you've got only 2 ways to go, and one of them you're forced into a dead end. Here, in order to try and use as many rooms as possible, because the more rooms you have, the more chances you have of getting the rooms you actually need. We went ahead and keep going both ways. Hallway was kind of no choice on that one, but we did end up trying to go further on the right and use up some of the rooms that we were missing, because we had to choose hallway and because we had chosen closet. But that was a conscious attempt, was try to fit in as many of these rooms as we can, always remembering, give yourself ways to go in the future. But try to use up every room, because, for instance, on strategies that require the pump room, you have to pull the pool room first and then the pump room. And you may need foundation, or if you get the garage on the left-hand side, then you'll have to maneuver around the garage because it's technically a dead end. Stuff like that. So there were a number of those kinds of reasons where it made the most sense to give yourself as many chances to get the rooms that you need as possible. I don't know if there's any particular significance. For instance, when you're actually looking at the monitors, it shows you that the security room feed is live. However, that will show you an instance of when it's very much not live. I can say that every room on here is draftable. Every room we see is in the draft pool for the day. But for instance, if you probably can't really see it, but hopefully it'll pop up in a second. Also, the audio got staticky every so often, so that's the den, that's the storeroom, this is the archives. Next up was the music room. In my different runs, I've gone through all of those. But there is also, on the library, you can kind of see it. It has a book on the table, but when you actually draft the library, there isn't a book there. So it's kind of curious why it looks the way it does, but it's not exactly live. I don't know if there's any significance to that or not, but that's one thing I noticed, was that those aren't actually live feeds if you haven't drafted them. And even if you have drafted them, you'll see like closed doors. There was some where I had like the storeroom or something like that, where you can or maybe the parlor, where you can see the door closed, but in actuality I'd already drafted it and it was open. We tried to go down, like I said. We did end up using the utility closet because there wasn't any way to go further down, and utility closet plus security means we could go ahead and deal with the possibility of keycard doors, since we hadn't gotten a keycard in the closet. Money was not very beneficial for us on the vast majority of this run. Went ahead and did pantry because, again, corridor will definitely be unlocked. So the further down the ranks you do it, the more valuable it is, because as you go down the ranks, they're more likely to be locked. We also had a dice, so we could pretty much guarantee through reruns, repulls, that we could force ourselves to go to the right. Here we still had security, so I went ahead and did guest bedroom and saved the dice. Going into guest bedroom, we got the steps, and that was kind of another focus. It was really hard to balance steps, keys, and gems. Some runs I had tons of keys and, had key card doors, for instance, and couldn't get through them. Some runs I had or didn't have enough gems to get the rooms I needed. Sometimes I had lots of gems and no keys, and sometimes I had lots of keys and gems and no steps. So it was kind of, kind of a headache to balance all of those. So in this run, I did try to manage that triad as effectively as I could. Coins would become useful for buying items more so than things. Like locksmith was not something I really used ever successfully. I tried using it a couple times, but I rarely had enough money for the items I needed, like sledgehammer or shovel. Those were useful. Sledgehammer obviously opens up trunks, and so you can get those for free instead of spending a key on those, because sometimes they don't give you a key, sometimes they do. Whereas shovel, you can get turnips for steps, you can get keys. I have seen people get the secret garden key from a dig. I have never done that myself personally. Also, I've seen same people, usually get stuff out of the chapel, and I almost never see items in the chapel. But yeah, so I tried to balance steps and items, and coins were best used on items rather than anything else. So moving through here, I wanted to go up and get away from the rest of it, because basically anytime I kind of sailed back and forth, I always ended up getting like dead room, and a room that went to the direction I'd already filled, so I was just dead in the water. Spin the globe because it's helpful for psychology, which was breaking down long ago. The day one for the observation room is only a single coin, so I almost never benefited from that, so I didn't bother going through the trouble of lining it up. The billiard puzzle, a lot of times, is actually pretty similar. The longest thing it took me to figure out was where the number was on the actual dartboard. So we go through, we get that. This one's pretty much always, it's not always, but it's frequently 20. And we got lucky on this one, we got the secret garden key. There were entire strings of runs I did not get the secret garden key here. There were some I got it, but just never was able to use it, but it was always a big plus to get the secret garden key from the billiard room. Because obviously, I'm going to show it, either already have or will soon, or both. But I have a diagram next to me on the desk, and it has all the different ways to get from start to room 46. The different variations to get into the antechamber, and to get the basement key, or to not need the basement key, for instance. And secret garden key is one of the fastest ways to get into the antechamber, compared to other things you have to do, which have multiple steps. I was interested in getting the garage, but not here because this was the only way I could go. So I went ahead and just used this to fill in the extra area. Dark room kept me going south, so I went ahead and did that because there were more rooms I could use up, and did not get lucky having it permanently lit. Although you do have a certain percentage that it won't turn the lights off. Got kind of unlucky, you could say, with the green room because it doesn't go anywhere. I didn't have a broken lever, but I did get a shovel out of it, so it's not entirely unlucky. But it is a room I tried to avoid because there was not much I could do with it. I got an item, like I said, but beyond that, it wasn't super useful. I also did not realize I forgot to dig him out of the spot. This entire set was pretty unlucky, so I just had to go with patio because, again, I'm using my only way to go forward, so I had to keep going forward. Did get lucky to have an item on the patio. I've almost never gotten items on the patio. Also, key was big. Corridor was beneficial here because I couldn't go right. The courtyard was more or less just a straight shot anyway, and then making sure that I didn't have to use the one key I had was kind of a priority. So knowing it would be unlocked at this point in the game was a pretty solid thing to have. Went ahead and used aquarium because it opened up my options. Also, I had the shovel, and you always, I say always, I basically always, I don't know if it's been exclusively always, but I basically always have the dig spot at the aquarium, so I felt confident about my chances there. And I pretty often have keys there, either keys or fruit. Wanted to keep getting back over to the other side, so I went ahead and used the dining room, which again gave me more options. The aquarium was already going to take me upwards, so I didn't mind that the dining room took me downwards. And then here, I didn't have any gems for the drawing room, but I did want it. The dining room took me down, the aquarium would take me up, so I wasn't too hurt about it, but it was ideal, and I just didn't get that out of it. So, but boudoir did give me another way down. And out of it a gem. The gem was really why I took it, but it was definitely helpful. This one, I'll probably talk about this in a future video when I'm doing more of the lore runs, but L-O-R-E, lore runs. But there's a picture on that little thing that shows Christmas decorations, and so that's how you know it's 1225. Got really lucky out here, got a lot of good digs. The secret garden can be drafted on the east or west side of the house, but it has to be the very end of the house. And it has to be a locked door in the first place for you to use a key. So since I got those conditions met here, I went ahead and drafted it here, but it could have been a lot of places, technically speaking. In other runs, there are ways to not need it, obviously. You can use the broken lever in the greenhouse, and it's about as fast as the secret garden key to the secret garden. But you can also use the broken lever, the battery, and a sledgehammer to get the workout room hidden lever. If you have the power hammer, you can use the secret garden. There's a brick wall you can break and get another one. So there were also backup ways to get through to the basically the basement key. Not really room 46, but you need the basement key first. I took foundation. I'm kind of behind, but I took foundation to have it because I don't know how frequently you can get it. So I pretty much always took it the first time I saw it. I was lucky to get the turnip and the key out of digging, and then I could just pretty much put anything here as a good dead end room. So I figured I'd get some items out of it. And again, getting dead rooms out of my draft pool so I didn't have to get crushed by them later on, which again was something that happened pretty frequently. But this did leave me only going up from the aquarium. But having 6 keys and 2 gems was a pretty solid place. Most rooms don't take 3 gems. There are a few that do, like vault and cloister. but having 6 keys was very, very solid. And 2 gems was more than enough to draft almost any room I needed. Conference room was a great way to keep moving in multiple directions and pursuing whichever path actually led somewhere. I was looking for any items that spawned here because I've had weird times when coins just accumulated, but did not have the gems for the cloister. Obviously, I chose the mailroom because sometimes it has like some items on the side table here, or they can be a box, a chest to open on the floor. But unfortunately, I didn't get any of those out of it. From here, Great Hall was just the best way to move forward because it didn't cost me any gems. I had more than enough keys, and I only need the one on the end. But the metal detector kind of helps you. I didn't notice the coin on the ground, which was probably what it was detecting, but it's also a good way to figure out which door has the lever, because the other item door is going to be a upgrade disc. So if you have key or coins on that little barrel, you will be able to find out where the lever is pretty quickly. So that's the best use of the magnetic thing that I've ever seen, is the fact that it can help you find the right door and not have to use 7 keys basically. This one was not ideal, however. I did have plenty of keys to use the Great Hall to go upwards, and steps were always going to be a concern because it's so easy to run out of them. That was a pretty lucky find, but I've had that really early game and the game goes poorly, so it's not that big. Here I had no idea which one would be the one going forward. The corner is a good choice, usually, and it's going to be the opposite corner from where the lever is, but unfortunately this time it just was one of those times it wasn't that one. But I find about 50% of the time that's a good guess. And if it's not the corner one, it's probably the center one. Here I needed ways to go. Courtyard didn't help me go up, and since I'd had the thing on the lever pulled, I could go top right or top left because of the secret garden key. As much sense as drawing room made, I only had the 1 gem, so I didn't choose it. Furnace gave me a dig spot, but I didn't have power, so there wasn't any way to get more keys. But I still had 2 keys, so it wasn't a huge deal. Still at 50 steps at the very end of the building, but unfortunately, no keys and no gems waiting for me in the archives like you can sometimes find. Didn't want to use a key to go there. I wanted to try and secure my way into the antechamber first, and pool was a great find. I was ecstatic and more than happy to spend the gem on that, because pool also gets you pump room, which is a good precondition for getting into both sides of the basement. I went ahead and used the bottom one first, because I just wanted to get rid of a few extra options. Because I had nursery, maid chamber counts as a bedroom, and so that made it the most favorable of all of those options. I didn't need really keys too much anymore. Went ahead and used the archive room because I wanted to get rid of a dead end room, and I certainly did. I was lucky that it was a sauna. Sauna always has at least a gem. Sometimes it has coins and keys as well, and I was pretty fortunate that I had a key in this one too. But running shoes were at an absolute advantage. That was luck beyond luck, because I think that's maybe the second time I've ever seen them in there. And I've currently on Steam I have over 200 hours in this game, so that was a very lucky draw, and it does save me much later on. While I could stop there were 5 more rooms I could technically take advantage of, and try to meet more conditions. Again, on pump room or something to get me into the left-hand side. Walk-in closet was kind of tempting, but crafting room, whatever this room, workshop, was a good way to get to the edge and not dead end myself too quickly. And I wanted the item. Having the sledgehammer was nice, but I never ended up having everything I needed to get the power hammer, which would have been nice. If I could have had the broken lever, that would have been good. As soon as I realized I saw a pump room, I said, heck yeah, it faced the right direction to keep going. It's also free, but it also gets me into the left side of the basement. Went ahead and drafted this because it's free. Didn't have to go anywhere. Library was all I could do, but it would get me one more of the rooms. But I wasn't going to spin the steps on it just yet. I was going to go ahead and deal with this. I accidentally had that the wrong direction the first time, so I filled up the tank instead of emptying it. Can't manipulate the other levers or anything until it finishes. And again, I've spent so much time in this game, I more or less have it memorized. I just sometimes have to remember where certain pipes go. I don't think I revisited the greenhouse, but you do have to fill it all the way up in order to have enough room for the fountain to empty. Effectively, all the tanks can do on their own is empty the fountain. You'll need power to the building. You need power to the pump room in order to pull anything else out besides what's just in the fountain. Everything else will be maxed out. We went ahead and filled up the last spot in the pool, and we will fill up the kitchen as well. The kitchen does come from the other tank, so that's why I went ahead and did that here. Now with all the other categories full, that last one blip fills up the last tank that I can use, because I can't use that big one just yet. Got the treasure map, which really wasn't necessary. I did make use of it, but it really wasn't necessary in this run through. It was just kind of interesting to have, especially this late in the game, because so far there are 3 things that it can give you as far as I've seen. It can get you coins, it can get you gems, usually a combination of the 2, or it can give you another puzzle. So just again, just kind of an interesting find, not really too significant. The biggest significance was that I'm here, I've got 44 steps as I'm coming back out the house, I've got the running shoes, and I have not eaten at the dining room, which on day 1 is fish, and so if you have the aquarium, which I do, you get the extra 10 steps. I did not draft the kitchen, so I didn't get to turn coins into food, but again, you see I've done so much of the house and I've only got 11 coins, so again, coins were not a particularly valuable resource. They could be, potentially, but it was not a resource I counted on quite like, you know, steps and gems and keys, which you can see I've emptied 2 of those and I'm desperately trying to fight emptying the 3rd one, which is why I'm checking my map just to make sure I'm going the way I need to go, to use the minimum amount of steps. And in doing so, I basically had to re-walk through most of the house. The good news is that having the secret garden spreads food, so as I was going backwards through the house, I could find food and maintain or grow my steps. Because again, here I am halfway back to the house and I'm still at 42 steps. The bedroom's obviously very helpful for getting 2 free steps anyway. Anytime I could backtrack through a bedroom, I was very, very happy about that. Sometimes I put them pretty early on in the runs, but anywhere that you did backtracking, they were incredibly valuable because they protected your steps when you backtrack. If I'd had a garage, this would have been much quicker. I could have just gone outside, but unfortunately I just never got that garage pull, so the one time I pulled it, I couldn't do it because it would have ended the run. So that was unfortunate, but I did go back through looking for anything I could find just in case. So I got a key here, and I don't exactly know when the keys were spread out, but I did get a second key in the nook, which was fortunate. Looking for any other food, but also I thought that the commissary might have an interesting item, by chance. I'd already gotten the shovel. I did have 11 coins, and frequently, I think almost always actually, 11 coins is enough to buy the most expensive thing in the commissary. So it was like, if I could find a sleeping mask, I would have bought that, because I was primarily concerned with my steps. But finding the salt shaker was another way to preserve steps. Finding gems was good. Not finding, but buying. Buying gems was good, and buying the salt shaker was good to help protect steps. You'll see the running shoes actually protect me a lot as I'm going downstairs and back up. I don't know how much I actually needed that, but it was very valuable overall. Now, having had the basement key, I could do all of this. Again, that's 3 steps in a row. The running shoes took me 4. I wasn't going to go in any rooms I didn't need, so I did skip that one. I always pull this to the very end. I don't think it's really necessary, but I just feel more comfortable with it at the very end. That's 5 of the past 6 steps that didn't count off because of the running shoes. And that's 6 of the past 7. So yeah, running shoes were helpful. I still would have had, it's 7 out of 8. I still would have had 30 steps here. That wouldn't have been a huge deal, but it was very nice. The running shoes definitely came in very handy as this last stretch went on. But now that we're inside the building, it does take off a lot more frequently. Again, we're backtracking through a bedroom, not a bedroom, this bedroom. So get the 2 steps, which is very helpful. This is the point, I believe, where I realized that I could get more steps in the dining room. And I was already coming through the aquarium here, so it costed me basically nothing and only gave me lots of steps. So I was like, excess of steps, absolutely. Just so that I have it, just so I know it's not going to be an issue. And that nets me 30 steps, that puts me up to 58. Or 31 because of Salt Shaker. Had the banana here again from the Secret Garden, and also had forgotten. I forgot that I needed to draft something that touched the back of the foundation. That was completely accidental, and that's what I'm saying here, is that I completely forgot about needing that, and I just did it by chance. So, that was a happy accident, to be entirely honest. There have been runs I got screwed because I could not draft something to the back of it, but yeah, this run I just wasn't even conscious of it, and it happened organically. Because I had drafted the dining room before I had gotten to the foundation. This is where the map led to, so I went ahead and did that because I had a shovel. Of all the times I've done it, this was the first time I had gotten this particular reward. I've gotten the puzzle before, I've gotten the gem and coin mixture twice, I think. I've gotten exclusively gems once, but this was the first time I've gotten exclusively coins. Anyway, now that I've gotten through, I have the basement key, I've gotten through the other side of the downstairs and moved the minecart, so now I'm going through and actually doing the puzzle on this side. This is me being ecstatic because I'm realizing that everything's in place and I have 60 steps. So I've basically got it in the bag at this point. I believe that's a statue very similar to the one in the east side of the house, which you'll see later on. I've seen other people do more moving around of carts in order to solve this part. Both the first, when I did it the first time, I did not, but when I did it, you could pretty smoothly get up there just by sprinting. So I didn't bother moving things I didn't need, because you can just sprint your way to it. You don't actually need to move every last one of those into the right position. You do need that one right there. You can't sprint over that, but you can sprint over the one I already did, as well as one of the other ones. I chiefly went over here just because I thought that there was like a gym or something sitting there, but there wasn't. I hadn't moved that one yet, and I tested to try and see if I could sprint it, and obviously I couldn't, but went ahead and moved that to where it goes, and then tried again. I did know, because I've played this before, I did know that there was something here. If you look at the map of the basement, basically, and have a magnifying glass, it'll say in light coloration that there was a number 10 of a hidden floor plan, or a buried floor plan, I believe it says. So that's why I dug there and found that, because I knew that existed. I have not unlocked that in my original playthrough, but I knew that that existed. And so here we just go to solving this. Again, having done the playthrough, I knew where everything led and what was at each station. I still don't know what the purpose of the 2-layer bit is. Like, I don't know if that second section has anything, if that makes sense, but for the time being, I'm just solving for the north lever, so I don't really care. The middle step is in this one. You can just continue to spin it and it'll take you to that far side. You can also unlock the in-between room between the two sides of the minecart. I did not do that because it wasn't particularly relevant, but once you get to this side, you can actually open that entrance up from here. I also didn't realize that there was this hallway here with this room, but since watching other people in my free time playing this game, I say people, one person. Watching one person play this game in my free time, he found that pretty quickly, and I didn't even know it existed, so I do know how to do that since then. I don't know that he's ever opened it, but I do know how to open it. I just have never done that. And once I saw that open, I've still got 60 steps because, again, the shoes do a lot as far as outside and downstairs. Very ecstatic about that. And of course, I'm over here making happy noises. I don't know if it's a matter of luck, but the shoes really were incredibly helpful outside, / in the basement. Again, I don't know if that's common, that's usually more useful. That did come in very handy here. Not essential, I don't think, but very, very nice to have. Now I'm, again, not really concerned for steps, but still just trying to figure out what the correct and best way of getting back to the antechamber is. From here, while I could have gone into room 46, I wanted to see what was behind the locked door in the library. And I wanted to go ahead and make some of the items that I could from here, because that is going to be another trophy, is make all 8 customized things in the workshop. So to that end, I went ahead and tried to see what I could do. Obviously, I didn't have the broken handle for the power hammer, but otherwise. And then I thought I saw that rising, but it was just a work of how I passed it. Now that I had a key, we're going to open this. I didn't have enough gems for the attic, otherwise I would have, so I just picked whatever was there. It was the workout room, which is kind of unfortunate, but having so many steps, it did not matter. I was looking to see if the broken lever was in here, because it frequently was, but it happened to not be, so just went ahead and ended the run.
There was once a red prince who sat on a red throne. He had a red crown made of rubies and a red castle made of stone. The prince had a love for all things red. It's the only true color, the prince often said. He could not stand the sight of a canary or a crow. He could not stand the white of a swan in the snow. And he never looked up for fear of the view. He had heard that the sky was not a red hue. He didn't see the birds or the changing of the leaves. And he never saw the sights.
So 40 minutes, day 1, and completed level, and got into room 46.
He couldn't
Nice.
see beyond
Nice.
the red shade he was aware. He never caught a glimpse of the world I had to share. But one day the prince saw something new. And if you look closely, you might see it too. The skies parted and the clouds withdrew. The prince had a new favorite color. The color blue.
Dugal. Yeah. Tsugi no hi. I'm so happy right now. I'm ecstatic. Oh my gosh. It has taken so long. So in the voiceover you'll probably hear, I've already beaten this part of the game as far as I've gotten to room 46. But it took me several days of working through it just look normal, I guess. It took several days of working through ideas that did not pan out to be true. It took, like, I would just spend a run trying to do something and fail for about 20 days, 10, maybe 10, 15 days, but 10, 15, 20 days trying an idea. And when I finally got the RNG to do what I wanted to do, it didn't mean anything. So I spent a lot of wasted time. As you probably saw at the beginning, I'm on, not that run, I'm on like day 105 or so. And then obviously I came over here and saw the trophy list, right? And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of cool ones, I think. But like Trophy of Wealth, you buy the entire showroom. Like, it's not hard. It's just something you have to focus. But then it was like, you have, obviously Dare Mode's going to be very interesting too. I have not even started Dare Mode. I never got that yet. But this one for like doing it on the first day is like, how do you even do that? Because again, it spent me a lot of runs of bad ideas. So it's like, okay, in order to do that, you have to know exactly what you need, and you have to just keep trying at it. And I will probably put it on screen in a second, but I have a list of like all the different, and not all of them, there's like one or two more, but they're so niche, it's basically impossible to get that combination. But I have every combination of ways to get to room 46 written down. So yeah, I have that. It's been sitting by me, and as I go through runs doing the best that I can, it's like, okay, what of these do I have? So I can try and, you know, pick the path that RNG is more or less giving me. And it still took, I've been working on this for the better part of a week. I've spent so many hours. I have, well, let me count, I've got at least 14, 15, let me see, hold on. I have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 16 runs where I got to the last step and either didn't get the key I needed, didn't have enough keys, didn't have enough gems to draft the room, or I ran out of steps. I have gotten, what did I say, 16 times that I got to the very last step and got screwed. I mean, I've probably tried this like 100, 150, maybe 200 times over the course of the past week. Sometimes I skipped scenes, sometimes I didn't, but like, I was just binging this. It has taken me so long to get this one. And with the speed I've been going, I kind of knew it's about 30 minutes to a run. Sometimes if the run ended really short, like if I just got screwed early on with like all red rooms or something, then the run would be over in 8 minutes. I had a few of those. Those were annoying. Because it was just like red room after red room after red room. And I didn't even have the furnace was like one of the last ones. Because the furnace, that's not what I want. The furnace is the one that gives you more likely to get red rooms, right? I didn't even have that until the very end. I just had rows of red rooms. And it was atrocious. So there were some really bad RNG times. But I knew 30-ish, maybe 30, 45 minutes was kind of where a full run would be, but that would be especially if I was drafting the entire house. You didn't necessarily have to. I didn't this run, but there were options where you could go out and do the throne room instead of draining the fountain. There were options where you could do the tomb instead of the throne room was one of the more niche ones, but it's like technically you can as long as you get the power hammer or the shovel and the hammer. And the power hammer, you can actually unlock the basement from the outside. And so those would be instead of having the the pump room. So maybe that one's in place of the foundation. You can go through with the power hammer. I'm gonna go ahead and I got so many steps I don't care about today, right? So, if you're watching this, you kind of know. If you go out here, down the steps, you have the elevator, but just to the right, once you get down the steps, you have that boarded up thing. You can actually use the power hammer there from the outside. You don't have to use it on the brick wall inside the basement. But yeah, there was that. There was the microchips in the places, and what you call it, getting the Black Bridge or Blackwater or whatever it was called thing opened up. There were so many. Not so many. There was about 5 or 6, and 1 or 2 of those were incredibly unlikely. But I kept the power hammer into the basement, and I kept the throne room option as possibilities if you just happen to get the right RNG. Which I got pretty close on a couple runs to both of those actually. I did use it on the basement, but I don't think I got the tomb. I didn't have enough rerolls to get the tomb for the outside. And in the run I actually accomplished it. I didn't even get the garage, so I didn't get to go up to that side. But yeah, just crazy. That was absolutely crazy. But getting back to the point, I knew that a run would be 30, 45 minutes, depending on how much of the house I had to fill in to get everything I needed. And sure enough, it's been like 45 minutes. So I knew if I got this on my run, I would probably get this one as well to finish it within an hour. But man, it just feels so good. I will collect my things and be happy with myself. And gosh, that's amazing. That feels amazing. So yeah, day 1 trophy speed, and inheritance trophy. Dare mode and curse mode, I don't know anything about. The showroom easy, classroom final example. I say showroom easy, it's about just, you can use the lab to up your allowance every day, and you can also do all the puzzles to up your allowance. So my main thing, I've got like already 30 coin allowance kind of situation. So that's why showroom I don't feel like would be too difficult. You just have to kind of focus on money runs. Classroom, again, kind of easy, just have to get you just have to get the schoolyard outside and then binge classrooms. Complete the trophy cases, just do everything else. Trophy 8 I actually had on my other run, so that's pretty simple, especially now that I kind of know how to do it. Trophy of sigils I can do you just have to focus all the preconditions for the keys. Trophy of drafting, with the drafting strategy sweepstakes, I know nothing about that. Create all workshop contraptions is pretty easy. Win 40 parlor games is easy, just 40 days and doing it right. 40 dartboard puzzles is pretty easy. Mount Holly directory should be pretty easy. You just have to go through and get all the draft rooms so that you can add everything to your draft pool. Draft a room in each open slot of your house is much more difficult. I think full house trophy is probably the hardest one of what's remaining. Because even in my full runs, I've never filled that up. With all the times I've tried getting the room 46 in one day, I've gotten pretty close. Like even this run, I had like 3 empty spaces, but it's incredibly hard to force that unless you have, let's say you have a sauna day, and then you can just binge steps, and you can do whatever backtracking you want to and get as many keys and gems as you can. That would be a possibility, and just avoid using laboratory, those kind of dead end rooms, and instead using like wine cellar to get gems to kill things. I think that would be the best way to do that. But so I guess I'll do a run. I don't really know what to do, but we'll just anything in particular I can unlock. 8 workshop contraptions, I might try to do that, I guess. We have the Mount Holly gift shop. We don't have money right now, but I would like to get him at some point. All of these can be easily afforded once you up your allowance. Once you obtain 8 trophies, so I gotta wait on that, and we don't have that as the add-in yet, but that's coming eventually, I think. And then we'll just have to really binge for that one. That's gonna be a huge money run. But I think if we can buy at the showroom, we can do that. So those two will be similar. Your package has been delivered. Oh, I got the mailroom, that's right. Lockpick and 2 gems. I will take it. I guess that's everything. I will do a lore run as well while I'm collecting things, where I'm like going through every room and just be like, okay, here's everything in this room that I know about. But I'm not going to do that yet. I guess I can do chapel because I have no money to lose. Yeah, I guess I will. I don't really care if this round goes poorly. I know I'm trying to binge items, but also I'm not getting items, so, you know. Get the garage. I don't really know what I want from the garage. Like, I want to unlock the outside. I guess, no, I can do that. I can do an unlocking everything. Like the east and the west. I already know how to do a lot of those stuff and things, so I can just do that. Make it easy. Easier on myself in the future just to have everything unlocked. Da da da! 1, 9, 3, 13. Where is 13? There it is. 12 and 15 is what? 27? Minus 10, 17? I can click it. 9, 7, 2, 20. Sorry, I'm lurking and I just heard a crazy joke. 4 times 3 is 12. Can't do math from hearing people having crazy takes. And it wasn't a take, it was a joke, but still. Yeah, I can do. Oh, I don't have gems. What about them? I can't even do that. What a shame I am. But yeah, I can unlock areas today. I can unlock as many areas as I can. I know there'll probably be 1 or 2 I can't, depending on how it's going to keep restricting me from having items. But I can do this to at least unlock the garage. I have a key card, so I don't need that. We'll do this. Oh, I need this to unlock the thing, so we'll just go ahead and do this. That's the wrong one, isn't it? No, that's the right one. Okay, I was like, I just hastily red, and then blank, blue, and green. There we go. So yeah, we'll do an unlock everything run now that we did that. We'll try and get Power Hammer to unlock the things. I don't know, so Power Hammer is permanent, but I don't know if it's permanent in the Secret Garden. And other places. So that will give me 2 gems at the start of every run. I can, if I'm backtracking close enough to the Ancient's Hall, which I think I might as well. Because Spare Room has nothing for me. Then I can just go outside and do some stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and get gems to make drafting my life easier. Maybe some reroll some coins. No, it is a gem. Okay, then. Actually, I'm going close to the garage, so I will garage to outside to. I lost a coin, bummer. No, I didn't go. Okay, where did I miss everything? I just went into the courtyard and went the wrong way because I was focused on chests. Ha 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 ha. I'm gonna screw the steps because this is an unlocking round, so we will unlock our hidden potential. Okie dokie, come over here, press a button. I will unlock things that can be unlocked. That way they're not an upgrade disc next time, they're actually items. That'll be nice. I don't really care. I'm gonna do a photo where I'd take all the lore, right? So I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna do that room by room. So I want to go ahead and unlock everything. I don't have stuff. Do I want... what do I want? I probably want tool shed, honestly. Because I'm going to just unlock the west in general by opening the latch on the gates. So, as far as this is concerned, I think none of these are what I want. That's fantastic. Oh, I can unlock the safe. That's fine. I can get this safe pink envelope thing. Okay, anything else in here? I don't remember because it's been so long since I first unlocked this. Guess we just have this. Oh, we can upgrade this. That'll work. We'll exit. We will log onto the network so that we can access this through a Blackbridge connection, whatever, in the future. But oh, courtyard. I've already drafted that, but you know. So of my favorites, this one, I think courtyard is my favorite because it's always unlocked. Unlocking is always a difficult thing here. 2 gems means I probably won't get items. 5 dig spots means they could mostly be worthless. So, granted, you can do this in combo with the laboratory to get certain, like, every time you dig something worthless, do such and such. So that could be very valuable in the future, but just not needing keys. Keys are one of those things that you never have enough of. I've never been in a run where I had just oodles of keys. I mean, I had, but it's because nothing was locked. Anyway, we'll go back out here, we'll see what time it is, we'll schedule the thing so that we can just have that unlocked. And I may take videos of I may take pictures of this footage to have that when I'm actually worried about it. I guess I can do that today, but it is Il est 2h D5. Been way too long since I ever used French, sorry. Diesel. Desunk. Yeah, that needs a laboratory and a power grid. That has never been opened in my playthroughs. I'm trying to... I know what's down there, but I kind of want to unlock things before I spoil that, I guess. That doesn't really affect this either, though, does it? So this... 28. So just for your benefit, in the darkroom there's a picture of this tree still being alive, and in it is inscribed 1128. You need the magnifying glass to find that out, though. But I want this unlocked. I'm spoiling it because it gets you 20 extra steps every day. So that's why it's like, I'm going to go ahead and spoil that. I might just go ahead and spoil the other thing too. Pump, 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 pump. Yeah. So this will help us unlock the elevator. This is a thing that exists. I'm just going to go ahead and do this for the sake of later picture taking, because that's like the only thing out here so far. But we also have this, which is perpetually at 325. And nothing happens at that time specifically that I found. I need more information. I feel like this will open up this gate somewhere. And let you go up because there is stuff on the east wing. We'll probably go ahead and see if we can draft that. But in the east wing, there is stuff and things. I don't have a shovel. Okay, then I won't be able to do that anyway. Go ahead and just looking through the mining thing because mind goblin. Because there's nothing in here, so the only thing worth looking at is this. It's the only page. I'll take a picture of that. that way, again, I'm going to go through a lore run anyway, so I can just go ahead and have these things turned, these things activated, and I can double check the documentation later. The other two are in the schoolhouse and in the, not the tavern? It's not a tavern. The gardening thing. I don't know what it's called. The starts with a T. It's not tool shed. Not tavern, but I think it's similar. I'm pretty sure I also saw the word like when I was drafting 5 minutes ago. Let's see what we're gonna do. We still have this and everything down here unlocked, so what we could do, we also dug out the floor plan down there, but we can't do the tomb puzzle. Oops, missed it. There we are. We've already unlocked this once before, so we don't need the key. It'll just let us do things, which is encouraging. We will need the power to do all of this. I'm hearing all kinds of strange things in the stream I'm hearing. We can come in here with a light. We have that. We have an upgrade. I forgot the upgrade disc was here. But we have all of these, and we have this, which is, we know is, I think, Arinda's rest. We have this already done. That's the tomb, so no need to worry about that. We need a power hammer to open up the basement. So long story short, I'm trying to speed run my way to equality with my 105-day run. I know where like 3 of the signet rings. Well, I know where a lot of the signet keys are, but I've only ever unlocked like 3 of them. I didn't want, like the clock tower I know about, but I never did that because you have to be at a certain place at a certain time doing a certain thing. So it's like, I'm not going to put him in trouble, and then I got invested, and now I'm going to put him in trouble. Okay, entrance hall. Why did I want to come in here? I don't have a hammer, so I don't know. Oh, I still haven't set up the shelters time. Okay, so it's going to be 11 o'clock. So we'll put it for high noon. I want to do the garage. I can go ahead and do the garage too, I guess. I don't think the bird baths mean anything. They might, because it's very similar to how the, oh yeah, I can do this. It's very similar to how the fake sundial is. Guest bedroom would be nice, because I haven't drafted that. Hidden effect of a random bedroom. I despise that. If you enter into chamber today, add 2 to your allowance. Which would be great for money runs, actually. If you have 2 on the estate today, add an additional 4, but it always has 2 dice. I don't think dice matter that much for the other runs, do they? Because footsteps is always like the point of a bedroom is footsteps. I usually use the boudoir for 2 dice, so I think having 2 to your allowance consistently, that's just a way to get the money runs to work. So that seems like the best option here. I don't think my main run of actually, or my first run, which was my main run, I don't think that's ever actually upgraded that room, so that's fun. Unlock save. We'll go ahead and put the unlock date. Oh, today is day 2, so can I go backwards? No, I can't. November the 7th is day 1, so the 8th is day 2. We'll do 1 p.m. just to make sure. Yeah, that's fine. Logging to the network, which we know is Swan Song. And that comes from the posters, both in security and in the commissary, which have it kind of scribbled out, but if you have the magnifying glass, you can see it. I don't actually care. Can I do anything? That's the office, that's right. Can we remote access anything else? View active terminals. Everything is offline. And I don't know how we get the Black Bridge connection in. Blackwater connection, Black something connection. Safe will only be open for I think 4 hours after originally. Yeah, fake sundial. Those are related to the fake sundial somehow. Possibly. Okie dokie, so we only have, yeah, that's the I knew I needed to do it for 1 o'clock because it took a long time for me to do the other things. So, because it has to be an hour beyond. For whatever reason they decided to do that. Commissary, I'll just do dining room because it's free. The items, no items, okay. We'll go ahead and succeed in another parlor game. I'm aware of that. I think I will save a number of things for that. Blue box is true, the blue box is empty, this is the blue box. That is true, that is false, so that means this is full. Yay, we solved it. It does get harder and harder, so I'm not being particularly sarcastic. We are not going to get to the antechamber, but I'm doing it anyway. Because we still get items and steppies. Yay, steppies. Which will pair really well with nursery in the future. Okay, do we have money? No, we don't. So there's not really much point to even having a commissary. Yeah, we can closet here, get some items, heavier hammer, no hammer time. Okie dokie. I don't see this being a particularly successful one, no. In case anyone was thinking, this is not going to be a very successful run. I agree. We'll do storeroom. Have lots of items, just in case. We'll save our reroll for the spare room so that we can get to the foundation, so that we can go back downstairs and do things. What was this? I dead-ended everything? Yeah, I did. Okay, so let me go up to the entrance hall so I don't have to use the chapel for that. Nook or boudoir or locksmith. Locksmith might be advantageous at this point. Yeah, let's do that. I don't have money. I'm just realizing there's no point if I don't have money. I'm stupid, it's okay. I'm gonna have even less money in a second. The chapel. I got a bedroom. I have no diggy digs. But yeah, I'll go ahead and unlock this. There's that, in case anyone wants to take a picture of that, aka future me. There's that, in case anyone wants to take a picture of that, aka future me. That just unlocks the door via power, because the garage can accept power. So I think that's all that the garage has to offer for now, in case something in the future nullifies that idea. I don't know what's in this. I think, like, it really feels like it should be more than just this puzzle, but also that puzzle does get ridiculous eventually, so I guess that's all for now. We will spare room. We've already gotten the utility closet done, but we have a key card, so I don't know if we even care about security. This room gets upgraded, and I'm going to use it for a bedroom like I did last time. Oh, we have to have the library for this because we don't want to screw ourselves. Not this early, not when we have 5 gems and 2 keys and 1 dice and 2 coins doesn't mean anything, but you know, 2 coins is kind of worthless. Yay, stuff. I do feel like more should be up here, but I know when you have it against a wall that this opens up some, so. But this is just kind of a records room where you can get a book that has to do with lore, so I'm going to save that, because that's going to, I'm going to have to do multiple runs to get all the lore from that room. Walk-in closet, honesty, all of which are good, but none of which I care about at the moment. Trigger this. 1% chance of it not falling apart. Heck yeah, that's great. I don't have a magnifying glass, so I can't go through and clear this room's stuff, but when I have a magnifying glass, I can do a run to just deal with that. Did I get the nursery? No, I didn't, so this won't mean much then. That's fine. We still get 2 banana. We won't get back to the dining room, so this is definitely... I'll go ahead and get this, I guess. So that takes care of the bunk room. Because there's not really anything else. It's Hamster. Hamster's nice. Hamster hasn't helped me at all in previous runs. Hamster has been less than beloved. Greenhouse, Jermaine. Greenhouse probably lets us see the outside. I want to show that off, but I have the redraw. But I kind of want to just use the redraw when I need it, so we can use a gem for this because we're getting an item. Magnifying, or not magnifying glass, metal detector. Got gem because we have water to this place, and therefore we get that. So yeah, this is the east wing, and there is obviously stuff out here. There's a freaking boat, which is a reference to the basement. There's a freaking statue to... I don't know, of all the statues I've seen, the Nicholas ones look similar, because it's got a big beard. But yeah, there is this, and I have no idea. Garage cannot be opened on this side, so I have no idea how you're supposed to get to this side, which is why my theory is that either you can open the big gates on the far sides, besides the one that's already open by default, or you can the birdbath / sundial puzzle will open up the gate to get us back here, because there is something to that. That ain't no way that's just for show. We have this. Go ahead and take a picture of that if you want to, because there's going to be multiple things that matter in regards to that. I don't have a shovel still, so we're still going to keep moving. Keep walking. But you won't reach antechamber. Keep walking. Oh, we've kind of screwed ourselves. It's plain to see. I don't know what else matters, but keep walking. Oh, we can go back to the thing. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that new. Let's go back outside, get our red letter and our ruby, and call that a run. Is there a better way down? No, this is the only way. Oh, I guess I can go to the garage. Yeah, let's do garage. That'll guarantee us steps. I don't know that I can make it outside traditionally, so. Yes, we've gotten garage cleared. We've gotten shelter cleared. Once we do this. I don't know. Stuff. It should be 1 o'clock by now, surely. Don't call me Shirley. Nope, not yet. Well, what time is it? I wish there was a thing in this room that told me what time it was. Nice sunset, it's beautiful. Water. Because of all the white outlines, it looked like something got highlighted for me to click on, but no. Also, I kind of wish there was a thing, like an audio cue when that happened. I have 7 steps, so I can leave and go to the thing and look at the time and come back. 1 step. Actually, if I can see it from over here in the corner, then I won't need to. Almost 12:30, so yeah, not quite yet. Well, I think it's 8 minutes per 5 seconds in real life, or 5 minutes per 8 seconds. It's something like that. There's a 5 to 8 ratio that I calculated last time, because I obviously did this before. So we'll just sit and chill. Talking about theories, there's obviously that tower, which... Is that the power plant that goes to everything? That's the power, yeah. The power goes pretty heckin' far that way. Some of it may just be for visual, because it's a world. But obviously the power goes to the Black Bridge area on the other side. There are the white trees, but there's this stuff. Like if you look down, there's a thing there. That's not the tomb room or the candle room. in the basement. I don't know what that is. The red room that we looked at before in the basement, I know how to unlock, but you need the boiler room to do it. I haven't actually been there, but I think I know it's just a floor plan down there. But I may be wrong. There may be more to it. What else? The sundial stuff. The elevator I've got to finish up. The school you can get a trophy for getting all 8 classrooms and graduating. And the hovel. There's a trading post, but there's the hovel, I think it's called, which gets you the other thing that unlocked the elevator. Down the elevator, you've got the chest room. You've got some notes. You got the busted up version of the history of Arenda, like the seal book, the sigil book, or whatever you want to call it. There is also thinking with my brain, 15 minutes. There is also the other. I said the library will have so many books, but the bookstore I'm gonna also have to binge money for. So yeah, I think money runs are going to become more and more of a thing because again, expensive stuff in the store and like the gift shop, getting all the books, getting all the stuff. We're kind of going to want an allowance of like 50 or 100 at some point. And again, my stupid blank run-throughs always got. Well, I say always. My stupid blank run-throughs, solving all the stuff I could find. Not even using. I don't think I even used the lab to upgrade my permanent stuff. I think I just found stuff that upgraded it. And I had like 30 coins at the start of the day. So, actually, intentionally doing a money run should be pretty easy to get up there in the cash. So that's why I do want to do lore as far as step 1, unlocking all the rooms. Although I have all the red rooms, ha ha ha, you have to fight them so hard. Found floor plans I have basically none. Lost and found is an interesting one. I know where it was because I've basically seen it on the map and just never unburied it in my other one. But I did know where it was, and I unburied that location in the map on one of my previous run-throughs for a day 1 thing. And on my day 1 thing, I found it was a lost and run thing, so I was like, oh, let's go ahead and do that. But we can outer rooms, shelter, because I didn't do one yesterday, aka day 1. So I've got to go through and do all of those, but I've done all of those before. Let me think. So there's the tool shed, the trader post, the shelter, the tomb, the hovel. No, the hovel's where you have all the dig spots. And then there's the schoolhouse. Let me go back through them again. The T's are tomb, trading post, tool shed, trader, shelter, hovel, schoolhouse, and the last one is the one with. It's not the underground with dig spots. It's the one with the note where the guy got dismissed for being average at best. But it's the other one with the turning thing. So yeah, those would be all 8 of them. And I think it's time. So, we'll go and unlock shelter. I've also only gotten 6, I think, red letters. I will go ahead and list the 6 I have. But yeah, if you didn't want spoilers, too bad. This is number 7. Taking pictures, we'll save it for later. But the ones that we have are drafting pool, basically all the drafting rooms, right? So study with the I mean, you probably know already, but I won't spoil the code. The study with the chessboard. There is the drafting room where you can actually get more floor plans. There's the drawing room where you can redraw for free. All of those have a red letter, so that's 3. You have the boudoirs 4, the shelter here is 5. I'm trying to think of what 6 was. Off the top of my head, I cannot think of it, but I'm pretty sure it's one of those that's like, oh yeah, it's obviously this. Actually, I wrote it down once. Do I have it near me? No, I don't have it near me, do I? Let me... Well, it's not important, but there's a sixth one that I've done too. I'm trying to think of all the dates, actually. If I can think of all the passcodes. I know the one for the study. I know the one for the drawing room. I know the one for the drafting room. I know the one for the boudoir. The shelter is time-based. I don't know. I can't think of it, but I can probably walk like 5 feet and have the list in front of me. So I wrote that kind of stuff down already. But long story short, I have 6. I think because with the puzzle spells, with the if we if we count small gates, that one, then I don't know if there's actually 8 envelopes. One thing that Alfonso in the rump room says, I know that's not his name, I can't remember it. Alzara. One thing Alzara says in the rump room is that we will only ever find 7 of the 8 things, but also he's pretty, from what I understand, he just lies, because he says, hey, you won't, like room 46 is a room that he says we will never see, because the moon door has no key, basically. But we obviously find it, so like I think everything he says is technically a lie. So there might actually be 8 envelopes, but because the puzzle's like, if we count small gates, which would be like the garden outside the apple orchard is a small gate, and it's one of the ones, it has a date. The date opens it, but there's no red envelope, there's no ruby so far that I've found. And so it's kind of like, maybe there isn't 8 total. Like there's it's a quote-unquote safe because we had to unlock a gate, but it doesn't actually lead to an envelope and a ruby. But I could be wrong, because there are some things about rubies and whatnot, so... And because the envelopes are side by side in here, and they kind of stack downward, it could be a 4x4, I don't know. But... Anyway... Because I do know one safe doesn't even have a ruby in it, it's just an envelope, so... But long story short... I guess that's all I can do today. We did unlock 3 of the 4 things on the permanent editions. We do have 2 of the envelopes there. So I think we'll just go forward with trophies, with envelopes, and with unlocking rooms, and seeing if we can do, like obviously again, for the library, we can't get all the lore in a single day. Because you have to rent a book, read it the next day, rent a book, read it the next day, you know. So that takes a long time. And we'll need the bookstore to fully populate the library. So that's going to take a while. But like the pool, there's not much to it. It just is what it is. The pump room, you unlock it once, you can kind of go through everything. And or, especially when we get the foundation stuff, like the reservoir taken care of, then we can cover the pump room and how that works. Security, I think I'll want to visit all the other, because this and all the computer rooms are kind of all tied together, but we can do that. Workshop, we'll want to unlock all of the combinations. Utility book class, utility class. But yeah, we want to unlock all the rooms first, probably, and then go through the lore for each room as we see them, really. Get the missing room here that we'll know about in a second. Well, in a second, ha ha ha. I'm not playing this for the rest of the day. Fill up more of our found floor plans. Outer rooms, drafting all of them, like I said, and getting the elevator. But so yeah, I think the plan for now is just get the lore that we can, like the garage we could do today, getting all the envelopes, getting the last permanent editions, that kind of stuff, and just getting rooms. So if you hung in here to the very end, thank you for watching. If you aren't hearing this but only watched until I got the 3 trophies, thank you for watching. So yeah, that will be the end of it. I will call today a day. Thanks for watching. Bye! All it. We'll go and see the day. The house. Half full. 11 dead-end rooms. Ordinary villa of the dead. Fair enough. Steps taken 91. Items found 8. New rooms 6. Rank reach 6. Total rooms 26. Yay! Save and quit.